You got a friend in me. Do, 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 do.
To infinity and beyond.
You are a toy. Welcome everyone to this stream on the Toy Story movies. Toy Story 1 to 5, as the Toy Story 5 has just come out recently, only like a couple of weeks ago. And I think, most people would have seen the movie by now, but we will say up front that there will be spoilers for Toy Story 5. So if you haven't seen the movie, then I would advise maybe coming back to this after you have seen Toy Story 5. You can stay if you have seen it, or if you just don't give a shit about spoilers, then, well, it's up to you. But have to put that disclaimer at the beginning. But we will be talking about all 5 movies. So Toy Story 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We will touch on Lightyear, but it's not technically a Toy Story movie, so we're going to gloss over it a bit. I mean, well, it's not very good anyway. So
it's a bore. Yeah, so we don't mind skipping Lightyear.
Yeah, so and I'm joined by Harry Thomas once again. Welcome, Harry.
Perfect. Thank you for having me, Ollie.
Anytime. So, shall we start at the very beginning? A very good place to start. Now, this movie, I believe, is as old as you are. The first Toy Story film.
Bingo. Yeah, and just like this movie turned 30 last year, so did I.
Yeah, 31 years. And obviously, the first film in the series is a landmark in cinema. It's no small feat to say that it is an incredible achievement. The fact it was the first feature-length CGI animated movie. I mean, obviously that shows now it's dated, but I mean, considering that like the franchise is still going 31 years later, look at how far we've come on the technical level. So, would you like to tell us about this movie that's been a part of your entire life? Really, I mean, it was obviously before my time, but for you, it was in your time. So, yeah.
With pleasure. Yeah. Wow. I mean, yeah, I've certainly got a friend in this movie. I mean, what? Yeah, like you say, it's a true landmark of cinema, and it's literally, it's the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs of Pixar. Just like Snow White was the first feature-length animated film, while Toy Story was the first 3D feature-length animated movie. I mean, yeah, and it completely, there would be no Pixar and there would be no CG movies today without this film. And the animation for 31 years, it still looks tremendous. I mean, it looks a lot better than the Illumination movies in comparison. Yeah, and but this film works not only because of the technical achievement, but because Pixar and John Lasseter, they put the story and the characters before the technology with this film, and it's this wasn't the first Toy Story movie that I saw, oddly enough. This was the second that I saw on VHS. So I saw this one right after I saw Toy Story 2, but I first saw the trailer for the first Toy Story, and when I saw it, I was like, "Oh my god, toys coming to life! Wow, that is freaking awesome!" And I think that this film, it makes you want to, really treasure your toys and treasure your childhood and not grow up too soon, because I mean,
it's a bit of a slice of life story in that regard, isn't it? It's like it's so much not almost about the kid; it's obviously about the toys, but it also the kid's connection to the toys is something that the toys value. So there's that element, but there's also like toys, discovering themselves, really, like Buzz, the identity issues that they deal with in these movies, and the fear of abandonment is something I think very profound for something like this.
Yeah, incredibly. Yeah, like themes of abandonment and neglect, and jealousy among the toys are for playtime and whose favorites. And
Fuck you,
yeah,
Buzz Lightyear!
yeah, that's how Woody reacts when Buzz shows up on Andy's birthday. But yeah, I think well, and also I think Woody and Buzz are Tom Hanks's and Tim Allen's best performances, hands down. I mean,
Yeah.
they've been voicing these characters for 31 freaking years now, and
Wow.
they still haven't lost their mojo. But
even though Tim Allen was Father Christmas in the Santa Claus movies, and then Tom Hanks was in the Polar Express as many characters, but yet they're still more iconic, more well known for Toy Story.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, they both starred in Christmas movies, but yeah, but totally. I mean, I just love Woody's high pitched voice. It's just so hilarious, and
like, just like
literally,
he just can't he can't sit still, can he?
No, I mean. And Woody was initially going to be even more unlikable in the original scripts, but they decided to make him, but they did make him better in the final film, even though to start with he is kind of a control freak and he determined to stay Andy's favorite toy, but he does grow to accept Buzz and realize, oh, actually, but Buzz is not that bad. So I think the rivalry and the friendship they form, it's naturally done, and by the end, of course, because the other toys, well, they are convinced that Woody murdered Buzz, they turn away from him. So Buzz is literally the only friend he's got, and the only way that they can get out of Sid's and back to Andy. But also, I don't think Sid is the best Toy Story villain. He's certainly a strong one for this film. He's the polar opposite of Andy. He's Andy if Andy was a messed up kid. How he just
God, I mean, what the hell have his parents done to him? I mean, or not done? He is such a weirdo.
Yeah, his parents did not discipline him. That when he blows up the combat car in his garden and steals
you know when Buzz says, sorry to interrupt. You know when Buzz says to him, "I don't think that man's ever been to medical school." Well, I think he needs to go.
Yeah. Oh, literally. Oh, yeah. He needs therapy. And when he takes his sister Hannah's doll and mutates it, which the mutant toys do look very freaky, but it turns out that they are a lot friendlier than they appear. And
they've just been tortured, and parts have been moved onto different toys. And it's actually quite disturbing when you get to Sid's house. It gets very dark.
Yeah. And I admire the film for going there when in the second half in Sid's house. Well, and I mean, it's kind of like I love that each of these three films in the trilogy have felt like a prison break film. How each film, the toys, or at least Woody, have to get back at home to Andy, and then. But Sid's comeuppance is so satisfying when Woody and the mutant toys reveal to Sid that they are alive. We toys can see everything, so play nice.
God, I'd be traumatized if I was a kid.
Oh, same. You and me both. Well, and the finale where they are chasing after the moving truck. I mean, that is thrilling, to say the least. And
incredibly animated.
Yeah, I'll say that by 1995 standards, especially. Oh, and I mean, and the soundtrack by Randy Newman, Chef's Kiss, just perfection. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's the first iconic Pixar song, and it deserves to go down in history. Well, but also strange things are happening to me, and I will go sailing no more. Really pack an emotional punch.
That's my favorite scene in the movie. Actually, I have to applaud that scene when Buzz, when I'll go sailing no more. That's my favorite scene. That's powerful.
Oh yeah. 100%. Like when Buzz tries to fly and then he falls down and breaks his arm, and then he's in a depressive state when he's like, "I am Mrs. Nesbitt." I mean, geez, it's just it's just heart wrenching, and I mean, yeah, and given that. Yeah, I mean, and this may be the smallest of the trilogy. It only takes place in Andy's room and Sid's house, and they go to Pizza Planet, and yet it feels so big from the toys' point of view. There isn't a dull moment, and
Yeah.
also the Pizza Planet scene, that's a lot of fun with the aliens and the claw. Yeah, so that was a great introduction.
And can I say, Harry, one underrated joke that I love is, oh, there's a special ship, I just saw it. Hyperdrive? Hyperactive hyperdrive.
Oh yeah, hyperactive. Oh yeah, yeah, that was great. Totally. Well, and also the quotes from this film and the jokes are just they're just so damn memorable. Like I mean, like from who else? So you want to do it the hard way, huh? Oh yeah, tough guy.
The air isn't toxic.
My eyeballs could have been sucked from their sockets. You're mocking me, aren't you? Buzz, look at alien where? Yeah, I mean, yeah, and of course, you are a toy. You are a sad, strange little man, and you have my pity. Farewell. Oh yeah, well, good riddance, you loony. Rendezvous with
That's the one thing I never understood is that, like, all the toys that come to life, they're aware of that they're toys, but yet the Buzz Lightyears don't know. They're always deluded that they are actually Space Rangers. I don't know why that is. Like, they never really go into why the toys come to life, like how sentient they are. I don't know if you ever found that out, but I was. That's the one thing that is I'm clueless about Toy Story, but they've yet to explain it.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, how they don't even explain it by the fifth movie. How come but the Buzzers are the only toys that think that they're not toys and they're real Space Rangers? But we'll see. I mean, the comedy and the quotes are just timeless. I mean, John Lasseter and Pixar just never miss back then. They really, that they completely changed the game in what you can do with animation with this movie alone. Oh, and I also really connected with the character of Andy and his. I mean, because I, like him, were very close to my mum and my sister growing up, and I was deeply attached to my toys. I played a lot more with my toys than with the tech in my house. Facts. And
that's the funny thing as well. To mention the opening of the movie is actually Andy playing with his toys. You think that would be a terrible opening, but actually it sets you up immediately, because then what follows is the true introduction of what the movie's really about. So I kind of like that opening because it misleads you into thinking, oh, is this just about a boy playing with his toys? But no, it's actually the toys. It's from the toys' point of view, which is clever.
Yeah, the moment that Woody comes to life on the bed, Paul might string the birthday parties today. You're like, oh my God, this movie just got so much more interesting. I love that they made that decision. And this is the best movie of 1995, and no question. And it's
better than GoldenEye.
A hell of a lot better. Well, and it's of course one of the greatest animated movies ever made, and I am gladly going to give Toy Story a 10 out of 10, 5 stars out of 5.
Oh, and the ending. Oh, a puppy.
Yeah, when Andy gets his puppy Buster, who we will see more of in Toy Story 2
and 3 briefly.
And 3. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, wow, what to follow that. And also, what was your opinion on the scene where they fly the rocket and obviously the classic moment where they say this isn't flying, it's falling with style.
Oh yeah, that was absolutely terrific. How you think they're both gonna die, but no, luckily not. Luckily that their lives are saved in epic fashion.
Yes. Before I go on, I would just like to point out as well that the same year, I believe, Disney also released Pocahontas in 1995.
Oh yeah, this was the same year Pocahontas and a Goofy movie were released by
Yeah, which is
Disney too.
interesting because this was like, obviously there was still a few years left of the hand-drawn animation movies. Like they would go into like the early 2000s. I think Lilo and
Oh
Stitch
yeah.
or Treasure Planet were one of the last ones before they took a long break, and then obviously Princess and the Frog came out in 2010 as like a homage. But the last kind of true hand-drawn movies were like, I think 2002 or something. Or
Yeah,
2003. So
yeah,
yeah,
certainly in the early 2000s. But of course, yeah, sadly, because hand-drawn animation was beginning to
phase
bomb
out.
at the box office, so that's why CG animation just completely
Yeah.
took over.
Had it not been for this film, we might still be in that similar position today. And who
Yeah,
knows?
probably.
I mean, well, obviously, maybe not because it's been 30 years since Toy Story, but it's hard to believe like how honestly how much they achieved with Toy Story, because Pixar obviously were prominent, but they were only ever made short films. So the amount of money this must have cost, and then to hire the talent that you needed for the characters is incredible. Like honestly, like it's so easy to praise this movie for what it did for the film industry. It just really was moving things forward. I mean, it's like kind of what James Cameron wanted to do with Avatar, the first one. Like make something that was so technically impressive that they were so far ahead, no one could kind of touch them. And Pixar were responsible for that. Say what you will about them as a studio, but that's why they're one of my favorites, because they were innovative, and not only for the technical side, the story as well. But it's just interesting because obviously Pocahontas was meant to be released the year before, and then The Lion King released the year before. They thought, oh, that's not going to do as well. Yet The Lion King did really well.
Yeah.
And then Pocahontas didn't do so well. And I think part of the reason is because of Toy Story. I can't remember what months they released in, but because Toy Story was the start of a new age, hand-drawn animation was phasing out. And then also the popularity of The Lion King. So I think Pocahontas had no chance, put it that way. And also, Toy Story actually references The Lion King very briefly.
Oh yeah, when Molly is in the car and they're playing Hakuna Matata on the radio,
yeah. And she can see the toys in the rear view mirror of the car. Obviously, she's a baby, so she can't say anything. But it's kind of a cool little moment. But yeah, anyway, on to the main event. So yeah, the first Toy Story movie released in 1995. I mean, this film is amazing. It's amazing. I love this film. As a kid, it was always a weird one for me because I used to get kind of scared by it. I found the stuff in Sid's house a bit creepy, but then it's meant to be. I still really loved it for what it was, but for me, the first Toy Story is such a wonderful film. It's such an innovative, not only a technical masterpiece, it's such a strong story. The story and the script, the characters are really strong. Essentially, Toy Story is a drama. I feel like there's a misconception about these movies in that a lot of them are adventure films. Well, in some aspects they are, and this movie does go out with the bedroom and they do go on an adventure. But crucially, it's about the two lead characters, Woody and Buzz, and their friendship/rivalry. It's a movie that incorporates a lot of different things. It's got a bit of everything. It's comedy, drama, action, slice of life, and it deals with very thematic and human themes. Considering the characters are toys, they give toys emotions, which I think is interesting. It's very profound, and especially the journey of Buzz Lightyear, I think is amazing. I think he has the best character arc in the film, and that
I agree.
He's delusional in that he doesn't realize he's a toy this whole time. He thinks he's a real space ranger, which is played for laughs. It's played to be funny. But then when he actually does see that commercial and he snaps out of it and he realizes, oh my God, Woody was right the whole time. And he falls into that depression. And it never connected with me as a kid because I didn't really understand it. But now I look at that and I go, wow, that is really profound. That is really sad. You know, when he's trying to fly out the window and then he breaks and he just goes, he has a bit of a breakdown. And just when I realized how good this movie was, just and that it was daring to do something like that for something that's supposed to be a kid's movie about toys, you know, the fact that you can emotionally connect with a toy who is going through a depression, that's incredible. That's really quite something. But Woody as a character, yeah, he is quite unlikable in the beginning of this movie, but that's the point. He's supposed to become a bit nicer and he find his humility. So anyone who says, "Oh, I don't like Woody because he's an arsehole," well, that's an invalid criticism, because Woody is supposed to be an arsehole. He's jealous and he's very arrogant, I think, because he's getting all the attention from Andy. And this is why I think Toy Story 4 was actually a good idea, and I'll explain that later. But Woody really goes on a journey of sort of humanity and humility, and he realizes that Buzz isn't out to steal his spot. Buzz is just confused about who he is. And then he realizes, you know what? Andy deserves to love both of us. You know, why should I take this from him? He's not trying to take it from me, so why should I take it from him? So I like the fact that in the end he does realize, you know what? Andy needs Buzz, and he's very unhappy without Buzz. And that's the thing about Woody. He's very loyal. He's so loyal, it almost backfires on him. He's overly loyal to his kids, and we see that in Toy Story 4 as well. But in terms of the first movie, there's a lot of great drama, a lot of great comedy. As you've already mentioned, some of the great moments that they argue. When he's like, "You stay away from Andy. He's mine. No one has taken him away from me."
Oh,
and then when they have their fight scene in the petrol station or garage, whatever you would call it, and he goes, "You want a piece of me?" Ah! And then he tries to convince him, "You are a toy. You're not the real Buzz Lightyear. You are a child's plaything. You are a sad, strange little man. You have my pity. Farewell." I love it. It's so funny. It's so funny. The writing is brilliant. It's so brilliant. The comic timing is fantastic. The the story is genius, and you truly believe these characters are real. And the performances, like Tom Hanks and Tim Allen, are just absolutely brilliant in these parts. Even to this day, they're still great. But the first one in particular, like Woody has this really kind of clenched, like he has this really clenched voice. And he always talks high pitched, like he's talking really fast. He's like, "I got something to say quickly," and it's a lot of energy. And I can see why Tom Hanks gets exhausted playing this part. You know, he says it's exhausting doing the voice recordings because it's physically quite intense for him. And Tim Allen plays a kind of more like Buzz is kind of a calm, sort of more subdued character, but then he does have his moments where he sort of responds back. I think actually the movie gets quite dramatic in places. Certainly when Woody plots to actually knock Buzz out the window. I mean, obviously, as you said, the original idea was to actually have Woody plot to murder Buzz, which I thought, well, that's going a bit too far. So thankfully, they pulled back from that, because it is supposed to be a family movie, and I think that the way it was pitched was done really well. Like, the other toys kind of turning on Woody and trying to like get rid of him then as well. So I guess karma comes back. But aside from Woody and Buzz, the other characters are great. I mean, you've got Bo Peep, played by Annie Potts. Don Rickles.
What do you say? I get someone else to watch the sheet tonight.
Yes. No, she's great, and she will evolve it's only in Toy Story 4. Ham, played by John Ratzenberger, he's funny. Don Rickles playing Mr. Potato Head. He's great. He's really good. Slinky, Slinky was voiced by someone called Jim Varney, who actually passed away after the second movie, so he was recast for the third one, but we'll talk about that later. And then you've got the little army men as well, and there's a few other little characters here and there. And Rex the dinosaur, he's one of my favorites, actually. I mean, they don't do a huge amount in this movie. They do what they can. They get involved in some of the drama, but they don't get involved in the adventure. But we see in the next two movies how much more involved they will get into the adventure. And sadly, then in 4 and 5, they'll sort of fade in the background. But again, we'll discuss that. Animation, again, I can't fault that. It's amazing. Even watching it in high definition on Disney Plus, it's still wonderful. wonderful to look at. It's just so brilliantly designed, and it's authentic. You believe it's real, and as you said, the finale when they're chasing after the moving van is just wow. You watch it and you go, how the hell did they do this? This is incredible. Like, and all the stuff with the dog and Sid, like getting out of Sid's house and everything. And I have to say, when we get to Sid's house, that's for me when the movie goes quite dark. It goes quite creepy. It's quite mature in that aspect. It's daring to do so. There are times when I think maybe it verges on a little too dark, but I think it gets away with it because of how maturely it handles everything. And Sid is just a messed up character. I mean, he is like he's the kid that nobody wants. I mean, he's just such an asshole. Like the way he treats his sister and the way he treats his toys. Like he just likes blowing things up. Like, I mean, you could make a case for Sid being sort of on the road to becoming like a serial killer. Like he's in that kind of mindset. He's allowed to blow things up whenever he wants, which is not good. So his parents are awful. I don't know what they've done to him. But he gets his comeuppance. Like that scene where Woody and the gang reveal that they're alive, and he says, "So play nice." That scene freaked me the fuck out as a kid. I was like, "Holy fuck!"
Oh, me too.
Oh god, I'm surprised Sid didn't end up in like a mental asylum after that. My god, like. I mean, God, I still watch that and I go, wow, that's scary. That's actually quite freaky, but it works for the story. So, yeah. And as you say, Andy's an interesting character. I mean, he's obviously just the boy that plays with the toys, but we see as the trilogy goes on how emotionally connected he is to the toys. And then obviously in 3, that becomes a massive plot point. It's like a big arc. Like the first 3 movies are a real story arc that work very well. And again, I love the music. The score itself is lovely, but the song "You've Got a Friend in Me," obviously, classic Randy Newman, can't go wrong there. And then the finale with the rocket, I think is incredible when they say this isn't flying, this is falling with style. Just brilliant. I mean, this film is fantastic. It really is. And I love the green aliens as well. They're class. And again, the writing is just top notch. The jokes are so funny. The story is heartwarming. It's, I haven't got anything bad to say about it, really. Only like that it may go a tad dark in places. But, that's just a minor thing because it still hangs together as a story, hangs together so well. So, and definitely for me, one of the best in this series. But we'll rank the movies at the end. So my final rating is easily a 10 out of 10. Fantastic, And little did we know... Sorry, go on.
Probably the most random joke in the movie is when the shark takes Woody's hat. Hey, look, I'm Woody. Howdy.
One of the best jokes as well, like, is when Woody says, "Well, the word I'm searching for, I can't say because there are preschool toys present."
Oh yeah,
brilliant. Yeah. And that whole scene where Buzz he closes his eyes and he actually does kind of fly around the room, not in the way you expect. He jumps on the ball and then he kind of rolls on the little car and then he flies around on the rotating fan or whatever it is on the ceiling or the chandelier, and then he lands back on the bed and he says, "Can." That wasn't flying, that was falling with style. Anyway, fantastic movie. But little did we know that the sequel would be even more fantastic. So, Harry.
Oh, yeah.
Please give us your thoughts on the film we waited 4 years for, Toy Story 2.
Well, Toy Story 2. Oh, I adore this movie with every fiber in my being. This is for me the peak of the Toy Story franchise. This is my personal favorite, and it was mostly because it's the one I have the most nostalgia for. It was the first one that I ever saw on VHS, so this was actually my introduction to the series. And and even though at the time Pixar were against sequels, but of course Disney is a company that loves sequels, so Disney insisted. But I'm glad they did, because if a Toy Story 2 had to be made, you need to make it even better, which is exactly what they did. And I'm glad this film didn't go straight to VHS because it's too good for that. It's cinematic worthy completely. And I know, Ollie, you said when we met last week that they nearly lost. They nearly lost the movie. So
Yeah,
I'm so thankful that they were able to revive it because
yeah. It was a real. Sorry to interrupt. It was a real stress because then they had like 6 months or something to then finish. Start reanimating again, and that someone had backed it up. There was a lady that had actually backed up the file on a hard drive, so thank God for that. But it did mean they had to start a lot of work again because obviously the state that the movie was in wasn't as finished as what they had made. But I don't know how it got deleted. But yeah, it meant they had like 6 months left to animate like clockwork, 7 days a week to get it done. But look at the result. Yeah, hard work pays off, but hopefully that situation never happened again for Pixar.
Hopefully, I mean, and just look at what they achieved in that 6 months. Well, thank heavens for that lady that she saved the movie. Well, and I mean, John Lasseter, the CEO at Pixar at the time, like this is his third masterpiece. Like this, he was on Fighter. I mean, even A Bug's Life vastly underrates a masterpiece. But Toy Story 2, this is hands down. This is still John Lasseter's best movie that he has ever made. And and this film, it goes even bigger than the first film for sure. It actually gives us the best and my favorite characters in the series are so of course in the form of Woody's Roundup. Woody's Roundup, right here every day. I mean, yeah, I just love that tune. Well, and of course, Jessie being my personal favorite Toy Story character and my Toy Story crush. And I think Joan Cusack, so she gives the best vocal performance of the franchise consistently.
Yodeling.
Yes. Well, and I just love her bond with Woody. How initially he's a dick to her. He blames her for everything until he learns about her backstory and everything she's been through. I mean, When She Loved Me, name a sadder Toy Story scene than that. You can't. It's it has me weeping every time I see
the
that.
furnace in Toy Story 3 is probably just as sad.
Well, yeah, the furnace too, but just seeing how Jessie was once beloved by Emily. Emily was to Jessie what Andy is to Woody, and just and seeing Jessie get forgotten. I mean, yeah, I mean it's. I mean, I think it's still one of the most moving scenes Pixar has ever done, and I mean, yeah, Pixar just doesn't. They don't make movies like this anymore. Well, and also Bullseye, the Woody's horse. So yeah, he is. He's super sweet, and he doesn't need to talk to be lovable. And it's especially funny when Woody's attempting to get his arm back from Al, and Bullseye is following him and licking Al's fingers. Well, and I think that Stinky Pete, the prospector, voiced by Kelsey Grammer, my favorite Toy Story villain in the franchise. I mean, he's also like the first major twister villain in a Disney and Pixar movie, because you do not think that he is going to be the villain until the very end. He turns out to be horrible, especially when he punches Buzz at the airport. And I think his fight with Woody may be the best fight scene in the Toy Story series. How he will rip Woody apart if Woody doesn't go in the box with him to Japan. But luckily he gets a fitting comeuppance when, of course, the toys overpower him, and Woody's like, well, Stinky Pete, I think it's high time you learn the meaning of playtime. And then of course he ends up in the bagger with the Barbie. You're going to love Amy. She's an artist, and well, and also I think the opening scene with the Buzz Lightyear video game, freaking epic! Like that is the best Buzz Lightyear stuff we have ever gotten, and I mean,
oh yeah, and that music.
oh yeah, sensational. This was a better Buzz Lightyear movie than the actual Lightyear movie that we got,
Woo!
and yeah, literally. Well, and Zurg is done brilliantly in this movie. We actually get to see Zurg because we didn't see him in the first movie. He was just mentioned, but when he's like, "So we meet again, Buzz Lightyear, for the last time. Not today, Zurg." And of course, Zurg is literally. He's the Toy Story version of Darth Vader because in that twist, he's Buzz's father. No, yeah. Oh, that was so good. And I think
playing ball in the next scene.
Oh yeah, I know, right? Oh, good throw, son. That's my boy. I know. And then yeah,
You're a great dad. Yippee!
Yeah, and then Rex's character arc, how to defeat Zurg is that's so funny. How and then and I did it! I finally defeated Zurg. I don't need to play. I lived it. well, and I don't think this film and Toy Story 3 use the other of the supporting toys are the best because while Woody is kidnapped by Owl, the Buzz and the other toys go on a mission and an adventure of their own. Even though we get Mrs. Potato Head in this film, which the screen time she has, I do appreciate. I'm packing your angry eyes just in case. And but I do wish she would have come on the adventure with them, but I don't know why she had to stay behind. But and then and when they get to Owl's toy barn, I love how they pick up even more toys like Tour Guide Barbie, and Buzz meets a duplicate Buzz who is also under the delusion that he's a space ranger. Well, and
that's the only part that could have backfired because it could have been repetitive, but the movie gets away with it because of the comedy.
Yeah, completely. And when he suggests they use Rex's head to break down the vent, but I don't want to use my head. Oh my god! I actually think.
And then in the next scene, he's like, "Should I use my head?"
Oh yeah, should I use my head? Yeah, I think this movie's even funnier than the first film, and I didn't think that was possible. But also and also Al played by Wayne Nice. I mean, yeah, he's I mean, yeah, he is a real jerk. How he's willing to go as far as steal toys to ship them off to a museum in Japan to get fame. Well, and I mean, luckily that backfires on him, but he's voiced by Tantor from Tarzan, Wayne Knight, which also came out the exact same year. Funny enough. Well, and when the old guy comes to clean Woody and fix Woody's arm, I just love the music in that scene. The da dan da da dan dan dan, and then yeah, and that old guy. He's the same character from the Pixar short film Gurney's Game. So
Jerry's Game, yeah. It's Jerry, isn't it?
Jerry, yeah. Yeah, I
He's
love
just
that.
like no.
Yeah, I love that Pixar referenced that. And this film, it does. It only replays the "You Got a Friend in Me" song once, but in a beautiful way when Woody's watching, the puppet version of him sing it on TV. And that's the moment where he realizes, oh shit, I can't just leave Andy. I can't miss Andy growing up. And I think this film gives Woody his best character arc. How he's really torn between, does he belong with Andy or with the Roundup gang, especially as Pete is trying to manipulate him to stay. Well, and because
Yeah.
Andy accidentally rips his arm in the beginning, but of
Yeah.
course,
Can I also add, if it's okay, just to
yeah,
mention the fact that the movie expands the world of toys, like showing, oh, there are certain toys who are collector's items. There are certain toys that are in the stores, and like not all toys are with their owners, and there are toys that have been rejected by owners. So it builds the world really nicely.
yeah, yeah, totally. It brilliantly expands the world, and it's uh, like and also Wheezy, the squeaky penguin. Yeah, he's a real sympathetic character. How he's gonna be. Andy's mum picks him for the yard sale, but would but then Woody and Buster, the dog, rescue him just in time. Well,
It
and
doesn't aggravate my condition.
oh yeah, yeah, his voice actor did such a good job, and and yeah, he gets to sing his cover of "You Got a Friend in Me" at the end, which is so good. Well, and um, but yeah, but then when they rescue Jesse from the plane in the climax, it is splendid. My favorite finale of the series. I mean, run like the wind, bullseye. And yeah, and I mean, yeah, I don't have a single negative with Toy Story 2. It's still Pixar's best sequel in my opinion, and yeah, I don't think any Toy Story content they make after this could possibly outdo this. So yeah, I gladly give Toy Story 2 the biggest 10 out of 10 and 5 stars out of 5.
Yeah. And last thing before we move on to my thoughts is, all right, nobody looked till I get my cork back in.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Such a brilliant
One of the best jokes of the movie.
Oh, well, I mean, what can I say that you haven't already said? I mean, Toy Story 2, this movie is a freaking masterpiece.
Oh yeah.
It's so good. I mean, it's so good. I mean, wow. Wow. I can't believe how good it is. I mean, I always loved it as a kid. Before the third one came on, came out, sorry. 2 was obviously my favorite until 3 came out, but 2 is the funniest. By far, 2 is the funniest. But it deals with, again, similar themes to the first one, but it told in different ways. Like the idea of like existentialism, like where it's not so much about who you are, but it's about where you belong. And I think that's the main theme of this one. Woody being the centerpiece of that, with his dilemma of, do I choose Andy, or do I choose to be with this Roundup gang who I've got heritage with, and will I be admired, by loads of people just through glass? There's, and I like the fact this movie gives multiple purposes for a toy. I think it's not just about kids playing with toys. There's other avenues to explore, and through obviously the collector Al, him stealing Woody, and then Woody meeting Jesse and Bullseye and Stinky Pete. They explore that. So once again, they found the root of the drama, and it's really strong. And you actually you think, actually, Woody has a point. He doesn't have to stay with Andy. Even though he is still drawn to Andy, he's still loyal to Andy. But with his injury, it's such a clever bit of writing, because you think to yourself, oh, actually, maybe Andy is moving on. Maybe days are kind of numbered here. But yeah, I really, really love this film, and also Buzz Lightyear gets a leadership role in this film. Not so much a character arc, because he had that in the first one, but he takes on the leadership role of the rescue mission, and that's where, for me, this movie excels over the first one. Is that all the other characters get involved in the action? They all get a lot to do, which is brilliant, and it's the same with the third one. Everybody's involved in the main story. Toy Story, for me, is at its best when you've got the entire ensemble together. And I think that is fantastic. So, like, Rex, Rex, Slinky, Ham, Mr. Potato Head, they all come on the adventure, and they're hilarious. The dynamic with these characters is absolutely brilliant. And obviously, we got Mrs. Potato Head very briefly, she will get more to do in number 3, but in this one, she is very, very funny. I'm pecking you, you angry eyes, just in case. Oh gosh! And actually, one thing you didn't talk about were the bloopers that they made at the end. I can't believe they went to the effort of making those hilarious bloopers.
Oh
for
yeah,
us.
yeah. Like of course, because of Bugs Life and Monsters Inc. had outtakes too. And when Mrs. Potato Head packs the monkey chum for the monkeys inside Mr. Potato Head's box,
And they teased the Bugs Life too. Oh, how dare they do that?
which we never got.
Yeah, sadly, maybe one day. Obviously, they would have to recast Kevin Spacey, but anyway, that's a story for another day. But yeah, I mean, this movie is such a great adventure. The first one had its adventurous scale, but this is bigger. This is bigger. You feel like the world of Toy Story is bigger. And going into the toy store, Al's Toy Barn, it's a whole world in of itself. And I think that every single idea in this movie is genius and it's creatively driven. They clearly cared about what they were making, and they just wanted to tell the best story, and they really told that story. It's this again. There's so much humanity in these Toy Story movies, considering that it's mainly from a toy's point of view. They deal with a lot of human themes, and I like that. I really, really like that. And the character of Jessie is incredible. You know, obviously she's the lead in number 5, and we'll talk about 5. But in 2, Jessie is for me that's her best appearance, and that's Joan Cusack's best performance. And the backstory with Emily is very sad. That song "When She Loved Me" is probably the best scene in the movie. It's a very beautiful montage, and it's quite telling quite a simple part of the story in that she had an owner who she had a connection with, and then eventually rejected her, making the point that a toy's days with an owner are always numbered. They don't last forever. So I like the angles in which the drama is centered around, but the humor in this movie is fucking brilliant. Oh my god, this movie is so funny. As you said, the Star Wars reference with Zurg being Buzz's father was hilarious. The joke where Bo kisses Buzz and he's like, "Well, I don't think it will mean the same coming from me." I think that's brilliant as well. There's so many other ones that we've already mentioned, but also I like the opening scene. The opening scene is a real hook to this movie, and it really kicks ass. It's a Buzz Lightyear in space, and again, it kind of feels a bit like Star Wars in some regard. And the music score I think is actually better in this movie. It's more epic and it's more adventurous, especially the Buzz theme. The dun 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 dun. It's thrilling. I mean, you won't be bored watching this movie. It's so much adventure, and obviously like the fights on the elevator with the other Buzz and Zurg, and then the airport. The whole airport sequence is a brilliant finale. A step up from the first one, I think, because that whole pursuit of Stinky Pete, and then rescuing Jessie in the airport is really good. I will say my only kind of minor gripe is I think Stinky Pete is revealed to be a villain a bit too late. I get his motives and I get why he's a villain, even though he's not really a villain. You could argue that maybe his motives make sense, but he does turn into a bit of an arsehole towards the end. But I guess, I don't know, maybe I'm just nitpicking here, but I just felt like the wrap up with his character was very abrupt in terms of them fighting him in the airport and then them just flashing the camera at him and then sticking him inside that girl's bag. Again, it's fair comeuppance, but I thought it was all handled rather quickly. That's my only kind of minor nitpick. It doesn't affect my enjoyment of the film. It's just a minor nitpick. I would have liked a bit more of an extension of that sequence. But yeah, aside that, this is a really great movie. And yeah, Wheezy is very funny. The dog Buster, love that. Love the dog. Brilliant. And Al, the character of Al, played by Wayne Knight, the guy who dresses as a chicken. Because he promotes his store, Al's Toy Barn. And he wants to get Woody and the Roundup gang as collector's items so that obviously he can make more money for his store. And or he wants to eventually take them to a museum in Japan so he can sort of get more money out of that. And make his business more successful. But it obviously doesn't go that way. But yeah, it's very interesting to learn about Woody's heritage in terms of as a toy. He was part of this group, and the fact he didn't know about any of that is really interesting. And of course, another joke I love is nobody looked till I get my cork back in. That's really good. And oh god, this film is amazing. And the music, you've got a friend in me is used again a couple of times. It's used in the TV episode that Woody watches. And then at the very end, Wheezy sings a cover of it, which is kind of nice. And yeah, as you say, there's so many other parts, like tour guide Barbie, who's a great character, really uplifting, really fun. Rex actually has a surprising story arc in this, where he wants to, I guess you could say, sort of find his courage in a way by defeating Zurg, and he sort of accidentally knocks Zurg off the elevator, and then he feels like he's defeated Zurg. I don't know if it was intended to be a major sort of plot point, but it was kind of fun for the character to sort of feel like he'd achieved that. And the other buzz, actually, and as I said, that's where the movie could have gone wrong. That's where the film could have really backfired, because we did the buzz delusion in the first movie. So there could have been an element of repetition here, and maybe there is that. But I think the movie gets away with it because it's not lingered on too much. The comedy is well done, and I think it's because we're seeing it from the real Buzz's point of view. I think that adds to it a new dimension to it. And of course, the other Buzz with the utility belt is the one that fights Zurg on the elevator, which is brilliant. And again, yeah, the timing, the jokes are just fantastic. And of course, the green aliens. You've saved our lives. We are eternally grateful. This movie is a non-stop thrill ride. It's dramatic. It's emotional. It's got everything you want in a film. This isn't just a kids' movie. This is a film for anyone. It really deals with those human themes. Whereas obviously Buzz dealt with his depression in the first one. Woody's dealing with his identity in this one and his belonging. And again, you could argue maybe there's similarities, but I feel like similarities that are expanded on. This movie builds the world of Toy Story so much. And Zurg appearing in the film is great. Even then, they obviously make the Star Wars joke that he's Buzz's father, which is great. Yeah, I love this film. I think it's a wonderful, wonderful addition to the series. I give it 10 out of 10 easily. If I could give it 11 out of 10, I would. I think this film is incredible. And
me too.
Yeah, I mean, the third one was definitely on the cards, but it's such a shame that we have to wait 11 years for it. But in some ways, it actually worked better that way. And we'll go into that shortly. But yeah, in my opinion, everything happens at the right time. And I feel like Toy Story 3 happened at the right time because of the nature of where the story goes. But Toy Story 2 is just wonderful. And, I would never get tired of watching it. And I can see why it's your favorite. Absolutely can see why. And the animation, actually, the last thing I should say is the animation is even better than the first one. I mean, obviously, it's been 4 years, so the technology had improved somewhat.
Yeah, the animation, it's twice as good as the first movie.
Yeah, and actually, the movie is, I wouldn't say this one is as dark as the first one, but there is that dark nightmare scene where Woody has of Andy throwing him in the bin, and the garbage kind of pulling Woody down. He's like, "No, Andy! Bye, Woody," and then he puts the lid over. I mean, God, that's a little freaky. Again, a very mature direction to go in, I think.
I'll say.
But yeah, so I guess we can now sort of move on to the end of the trilogy, but not the end of the series. And this movie came out 11 years after number 2, so it was quite a long wait.
Yeah.
And I thought at one point when I was a kid we were never going to see Toy Story 3 because it just been so long. But no, I feel like Pixar were always going to do it. They were just waiting for the right time, and they obviously other projects took off. Like Monsters Inc., Finding Nemo, The Incredibles. So they got wrapped up in so many other projects, and then by the time they, I guess, got to sort of Wall-E and Up, they probably thought, "Oh yeah, we need to make Toy Story 3." So in 2010. Go on, sorry.
Yeah, in the 2000s, they didn't make any sequels just original content.
Yeah, which is great for them. I mean, I'd argue that decade was where they were peaking. Well, I guess, well, unless you want to count the first two Toy Stories, but in terms of the early 2000s, they were pretty much peaking. Aside the first Cars movie, but even then, it's still it's not a bad movie. It's sort of decent enough, but by the end of the two sort of the noughties, no, yeah, the noughties, like 2000 to 2010. 2010, we get Toy Story 3. So, Harry, please give us your amazing thoughts on this amazing third film. Maybe?
With pleasure. Yeah. So we waited 11 years to see the conclusion, well, of the Andy trilogy in Toy Story, at least.
Should have been the conclusion of the whole series, but never mind.
Yeah, exactly. Should have been the finale in general, but of course, what was not meant to be. When I heard Toy Story 3 was coming in 2010, I was like, oh my God, Toy Story's actually a trilogy. It's finally happened. Before I go into why I adore this movie, can you imagine what if this movie had concluded with the toys revealing to Andy that they were alive this entire time?
Yeah, that would have, I think, changed the ending, because I feel like that could have gone two ways. I feel like that would have been very divisive. I feel like some audiences would have found the emotion in that and would have been like, oh, but I think there's more power in like than him not knowing that they came to life. Because, who knows? He could have reacted like Sid and been like, what the fuck? They're alive? But, I mean, there's the implication that Andy knows, because when he says the thing about Woody is that he'll never give up on you, he'll be there. But I think he probably means in the context of like just being there in general. Obviously he doesn't. It's never stated that he knows. But I like to think maybe Andy has some kind of suspicion, but who knows?
Yeah. I mean, maybe he has knew deep down, but I get why they didn't go there, because that probably would have been too divisive and too risky. But for the film we got, wow, Toy Story 3, absolute masterpiece. I mean, this is
a hat trick.
Oh yeah, I mean, hands down, one of the best conclusions to a trilogy of all time. I mean, and it would be my favorite. It would be my favorite movie of 2010, if not for How to Train Your Dragon and Deathly Hallows Part 1. But still, it's hands down one of the best of that year. But yeah, I think this film, it's a real weeper. But the opening scene, it's actually a ton of fun, where we actually get to see inside Andy's imagination, when he was playing with the toys in the first film. It's literally, we get to see exactly what he was imagining with Woody and Jesse and the gang going after Potato Head, when Andy imagines him as a criminal, and Dr. Porkchop. It's just awesome.
Yeah, because you get some of the same dialogue from the first movie repurposed.
Oh yeah, literally. Well, and then I agree. I think it works that this film came some years after 2, because Andy has now grown into a teenager, and so had we at this point. We had grown with Andy.
It was their intention to do it this way, but it just worked out that way because of, again, other projects and the time and everything. So them going in this story direction actually was really fortuitous and fitting. Would you agree?
Oh, I wholeheartedly agree. Yeah. They really did wait for the right time, and the fact that I saw this film when I was 15, and boy did it hit me in the feels that way, because it made me relate to Andy having to move on even more. And this film especially, it's especially deals with the theme of letting go, about how Andy, he's at this point, he is going off to college, of course, and at some point, he's it's the point where he's got to decide what to do with his toys, and and even saying goodbye to his mum and Molly as he leaves for college really hit me hard. Well, and but then the toys think that they have found their new home in Sunnyside Daycare, which of course turns out to be a hell for them, because it is run by the tyrannical Lotso Huggin Bear, who rules Sunnyside with an iron fist.
And he smells like strawberries.
Smells like strawberries, literally. But Lotso, oh wow, this is he's the most evil teddy bear ever put to film, and he's one of the absolute best Toy Story and Pixar antagonists.
I'd argue he's the best villain, to be honest. I find him a tragic villain. I think you can understand why he's so full of hatred. Unlike, I think, Stinky Pete, you get it, but and again with Sid, and Stinky Pete, you get why they're sort of evil. But for me, Lotso's got more depth than them two. But yeah.
Yeah, I completely get that. Yeah, because he does have a ton of depth. When we find out his backstory, how his owner Daisy, she accidentally left him and her other toys behind, but she of course replaced Lotso, and Lotso took that extremely personally, and that really turned his heart black. And
I love how he speaks with a southern drawl, like Ned Beatty voices him, and rest in peace. But she replaced us. Come on, I like the southern accent. It works for his character.
Ned Beatty did an incredible job. Well, and also turning Buzz Evil into one of Lotso's henchmen temporarily. I think that really raised the stakes, and also when they get Buzz back and they accidentally turn him Spanish, that was a genius. And we even get a Spanish cover of "You've Got a Friend in Me" in this film. Ay, yo, amigo en mí.
Oh yeah, when he tries to dance with Jesse.
Oh yeah, that is wonderful. So this film still, even if this is the darkest of the three, it's still one of the funniest of the franchise at the same time.
It's consistent like the first two in that regard.
Oh yeah, completely consistent in tone. Well, and also, like in Toy Story 2, the other toys get as much involvement as Woody does. Of course, Woody is the one that's most loyal to Andy, trying to convince them Andy was going to put them in the attic and not throw them away. But of course, they don't see it like that. And
he was putting you in the attic.
Yeah. He left us on the curve. Yeah. Well, and when the other toys, they get the shit beaten out of them by the Casabilla kids, you really feel bad for them.
It gives Playtime a whole new angle, and again expanding the world like 2 did, but in a different way. Like the daycare, from the toys' point of view, it's either if you're in the right room, really lovely, or if you're in the shit room, it's really shit.
Tell me about it. The butterfly room, much calmer in comparison, but also we get one of probably my favorite new supporting character in this film. I'm just Ken. Anywhere else, I'd be a 10. Yes, Barbie gets her Ken in this movie, but this was, of course, 13 years before the Greta Gerwig Barbie. But I think, I love that. But Barbie in this film, she's the one that finds out how to get Buzz back by making Ken try on the outfits, which is very entertaining. Well, and of course the climax when we get to the went to the furnace and the dumper when they rescue Lotso, and all Lotso has to do is push that lever, but he's just like, "Where's your kid now, Sheriff?" Even
Yeah.
after they saved him, he left them to die. Oh, fuck him.
Yeah, no, he is despicable.
Yeah, literally, and literally, this film had the balls to nearly kill off all of the toys that we have
Thinking about
loved
it
for the
makes me
past
cry.
15 years. Jesus, and
But I
and
love it
when
when films do that. I don't know about you. I love it when films could have been emotionally manipulate you in a way, like to make you think it's it. This is the end. That's it. We know that it's not going to end like that, but we still have that fear of, oh no, they're gonna die. Like it's really like
yeah,
sad how they accept their fate. Like, thinking about it makes me cry. But and then of
oh
course
yeah,
I'll let you explain how they get saved. But yeah,
yeah, me too. Like when they're holding hands, and just when you think that's they're done for, luckily the aliens scoop them up at the last minute, so because they think the the big claw is the claw. Yeah, that was awesome. Well, and Lotso gets a decent comeuppance when he gets stuck to the front of that truck.
yeah.
And also,
Strawberries.
yeah, yeah, and also the luckily Andy finds the perfect kid to hand his toys over to, in the form of Bonnie, the sweetest little girl that Pixar has done since Boo from Monsters Inc. Well, and
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like when he's passing each of the toys over to Bonnie, and he's telling her who they are, and of course Woody being the last one. And then when Andy drives away, and they're like, "So long, partner." I mean,
Oh,
yeah, God,
that gets me as well.
oh, me too. I'm like, we thought this was it. Like, we thought this was no more Toy Story, but if this was the last one, they couldn't have ended it any better. And then Randy Newman gives us one final brilliant song, "We Belong Together." I mean, yeah, I was applauding big time at the end of this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Freaking
I
hell.
mean,
Yeah.
yeah, Pixar, they, yeah, that they freaking hit the nail on the head, and they gave us one of the best movie trilogies ever made,
Yeah.
easily. And yeah,
Still
one
is
of,
one of
I
the
mean,
best. I don't care that they made 4 and 5. I still say the Toy Story trilogy is one of the best trilogies ever made.
oh yeah, easily, yeah, certainly one of the most game changing. It just shows that they are a real testament to, yeah, what animation can do. All three of them, and yeah, and also uh, this was at the time the highest grossing animated film of all time, the first animated film to surpass $1 billion in box office takings, and you can see why. I mean,
Yeah, and it had been a
so
long wait as well. People were desperate to see it. It's when they heard it was being made. I think there was genuine buzz about Toy Story 3, and I'm not surprised. And it was directed by someone else as well, directed by Lee Unkrich, because
oh
Lasseter.
yeah,
I think he. Well, I mean, he was involved. I don't think he wanted to direct it, but I think he's now left Pixar. But yeah,
oh yeah, yeah. This is the first Toy Story movie not to be directed by John Lasseter, but by Lee Unkrich. But he did just a consistent job. So yeah, I think, yeah, Toy Story 3, yeah, like the first two, also gets a perfect 10 out of 10 and 5 stars out of 5 for me. Yeah, for me, my second favorite of the series, close second.
thank you, man. Yeah. Also, before I give my thoughts, just worthy to mention for obviously fans of the first film, bit of a nostalgic reference, and I know a lot of people know this, but for those who don't, um, the Garbage Man is actually Sid, grown up.
Oh, also
Yeah,
that's what happens, Sis.
Yeah, I mean, his lot in life was that he became a bin man, and I think that's beautiful for him. That's beautiful.
Oh
And he's
yeah.
listening to his music, going, "Buh, buh, buh, buh." But if you look at his shirt, it's the same shirt that he wears in the first movie as a kid. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, I think that's a lovely, nice little detail there. He is credited actually. They got the original actor to come back and do that, record those one or two lines that he has. Um, he appears a couple of times, once at the beginning, once at the end. But yeah, anyway, I thought that was just something to point out. Wow, what can I say? Toy Story 3. I mean, this actually is my favorite one of the franchise.
Woo!
And I don't say that lightly because most of these movies are really good. I didn't think it could be done. I mean, wow. When I saw this film the first time, I could not believe how good it was. I was blown away.
Oh yeah, so
I'm still blown away to this day. But in 2010, I was 13. My God, this was the first one of the first films that I really cried at in the cinema. It was really powerful. My goodness me, like it's a hat trick. They made 3 masterpieces. This film is an absolute masterpiece of cinema.
oh,
I mean, it's a film that's so well done. The story is executed brilliantly. The reason why it's my favorite is because I think it has the best themes. It has the best narrative. I think it was the perfect way to end the trilogy because of this idea of letting go, moving on, growing up, coming of age. It is the one that deals with coming of age, and it gets a little dark in places, but I think in just the right way. And again, it expands the world of the toys with the daycare setting in Sunnyside. I think is a clever way to expand the world of Toy Story, and also the dark side of Toy Story, which is the landfill side. Rubbish, being thrown out. But again, I just think the story's pitched perfectly. The idea of Andy being more grown up now, moving on. I don't think there was any other story you could have had for Toy Story 3. I think this was the only plot that you could have gone with. And I think in order to make this work, this was the only thing that you could have done, which is why it hits people so well. And again, like we said earlier, the fact that it actually did release so long after the second one, it was actually rather appropriate. It was quite fortuitous. Again, I don't believe this was the intention. I believe Pixar would have made this movie sooner if they could have done, but other projects got in the way. And I think it was meant to be. It was meant to be that we had to wait over a decade for this movie, but it was so worth it because just wow. I mean, it's brilliantly written. I mean, like the first 2, it is funny. I don't think it's quite as funny as the first 2, but I do think subjectively it is the best of the 3 because, again, of the story beats and the emotion. This movie makes me cry. Toy Story, a film about toys and teddy bears, makes me cry. It's that scene, the climax, to me, has the best climax of any of the movies. The fact they escape they have that whole prison break sequence from the daycare, which is so cleverly done, like with Potato Head becoming a tortilla, them tricking Buzz and trying to reset Buzz back, then confronting Lotso on the garbage disposal, and then they get into the landfill and they get into the incinerator and they try and save Lotso, and then Lotso leaves them to die, and then the toys nearly get killed inside the furnace. I mean, it's wow. Even talking about that scene makes me emotional. It's that moment where they just sort of accept their fate and they take their hands and oh my God, you just sort of you can't quite believe that they went in this direction. Like, imagine if the movie did end there; it would be such a sour note to end on. I mean, I knew that wasn't gonna happen, but the fact that they pushed it in that direction, they were like, let's emotionally blackmail the audience here. Let's actually go dark. And credit to Lee Unkrich and the writers because they stuck to that. My God, it was a brave move and it could have backfired, but they stuck to that, and I think really it hit a lot of people. So that scene got to me, and then the ending is beautiful where the toys prepare to obviously give themselves away, and then Woody thinks he's going to go to college with Andy, and then he realizes no, I need to let go of Andy, and he needs to let go of me. So he puts himself in the box, and then obviously Andy gives the toys to Bonnie, who Bonnie is obviously a very, very sweet little girl who's like 2-3 years old. and that's whole speech Andy gives when he gives the toys away is really heartfelt, really beautiful, and as you said, the very end when he drives off, and then Woody says, "So long, partner." I mean, just oh wow, and it ends that 3-film story arc superbly, superbly, and even like the beginning of the movie where we go back to Andy's imagination, but it's more exaggerated. It's an actual fantasy sequence, whereas in the first movie it was just like him playing with the toys. Where in this one we see the imagination sequence. I think it's supposed to contrast the end of the movie where he's playing with Bonnie. So I like that. I like that very much, and that was a kick-ass way to open the movie. It was an epic action scene, and
totally.
the characters chasing after the potato heads was really really fun. And again, the whole montage of Andy then grown up, and then we see Andy grown up, and the toys are kind of there's so few of them left as well, and obviously Bo isn't there as well, so there is a the way that the room looks is completely different, and you feel that something's really different with this one. I think the most mature and the darkest of the movies, and I love Sunnyside as a setting, and I think Lotso is an incredible villain. He's for me the best villain of the series. The tragic backstory of how he was so in love with his owner. He had such a great bond with her, and then she replaced him obviously because she accidentally left him behind, and they traveled all that way back to find her, and then he just snapped. He just lost his empathy. And it is really tragic, actually. I think he is a very tragic villain, although he does turn into a horrible git when he leaves the toys to die. But he gets his just desserts in the end. But yeah, Lotso is a very dramatic character. And I love the line where he says, "We're all just trash waiting to be thrown away." That's all a toy is, Again, the idea of another perspective of the whole growing up and moving on thing is that people just throw toys away, And I get why he has that mindset. I think for me, the only critique I have of this movie is there's a few too many characters. I think there's a lot of new characters introduced in the daycare center. Like Whoopi Goldberg plays a character called Stretch, who's like this octopus. She has like 2 lines in the movie. But it's again such a minor thing to complain about because the rest of the new characters are great. Like Ken is a hoot in this movie. He's one of the funniest characters in this movie, and the scene where he tries on the outfits for Barbie is wonderful. You would think that Ken and Barbie would be annoying in this movie, but they're actually not. They're really funny. They're really well utilized, and the Spanish buzz is also a really funny aspect of this film as well. Again, I don't think the comedy's as strong, but I did laugh a lot during this movie, and the timing was very good. But I think just 1 and 2 just hit so many beats that were just, and the jokes were a little cleverer, but the humor here is still very good, of course. But I think there's less of it because the story is going very dramatic, and we know that the toys are all, again, there's that fear of abandonment, and the fact again that all of them are involved in the story is phenomenal. Much like 2, they're all in the adventure together, and I love that. The music is really good as well, very dramatic in places. And then, of course, you've got the song "We Belong Together," which I think won an Oscar. So,
deservedly so.
I think this won 2 Oscars. I think it won Best Animated Movie, and I think it won Best Original Song, as far as I'm aware. So.
Yeah, and it was also nominated for Best Picture, which is very rare for an animated movie.
Yeah, wow. I mean, you can tell. I mean, the craftsmanship that's gone into it, and the animation obviously is superb. Obviously, there's been an 11-year wait for the 3rd film, but the leap in quality is just it's incredible. But it is consistent like the first 2 as well. And to me, this is just such a perfect way to end the movies. If they didn't continue it after this, I think it would have been left in a very good place. But obviously, money drives everything. But this is a great way to end the kind of Andy story, and I think this is a movie that will resonate with everybody. It will resonate with everyone because at some point in our lives we will have to grow up and move on from the things we once loved as children. It's not just about giving toys away; it's about giving away your youth, your innocence, and I think that's very powerful. And like, and to me, it's one of the best Pixar movies as well. Um, I couldn't be happier with this film. I really couldn't. It is a stunning piece of cinema. 10 out of 10, easily. And the first three, they form the perfect trilogy. It really is quite astonishing. And then for 9 years, we thought that was it. We're done. But no, the Pixar said that, oh, we have an idea that's so good, we have to make the fourth one. So, Harry, I have a feeling that this is now going to go completely the other side for you, although for me, not as much. But 9 years later, Toy Story 4. Please give us your thoughts on the fourth movie.
Yes. Oh, gee, Toy Story 4. Well, I mean, don't hate Toy Story 4. If anything, I enjoyed it way more than I thought I was. Like, when Toy Story 4 was green, I was like, seriously, Pixar, what are you doing? Like, you have a perfect trilogy. You don't need to consider. There's no more story with Toy Story you could tell. But I guess if, but I guess that idea, their idea was that good that they just had to make it. And I guess I could see why they did make it, because of one thing I forgot to mention about Toy Story 3 was Bo Peep was completely absent and not in the third film, and in 4 we get to find out why. So I could see why they wanted to bring closure to Bo Peep and Woody here in particular. And yeah, so 9 years after 3, of course, 3 is the last great Toy Story movie, but 4, it's vastly weaker than the original trilogy, but it's a decent epilogue to that trilogy. Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, it's watchable, but it's good, but it's not great. I personally feel Frozen 2 is the much better Disney sequel that we got that year. But Toy Story 4, yeah, I can still watch it and enjoy it fine, because this film still has some good new ideas in it, like the
you
concept.
can live with it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we could have lived without it, but we can also live with it at the same time. And of course, the idea that the Bonnie, well, at least we get to see what happens with the toys, their new life with Bonnie. And I guess 4, 5, and if we get Toy Story 6, will be the Bonnie trilogy. So I just hope they, yeah. So we see Bonnie. She's during her orientation day. She makes a friend of her own out of trash, Forky, and of course he is convinced that he's trashed and is trying to throw himself away, as they say in the Randy Newman song, "I can't let you throw yourself away," which is a catchy number. I will give it that. But Forky, I thought Forky was gonna annoy the shit out of me, but luckily he is tolerable and he's actually charming, and I do like that Woody. He's doing his best to convince Forky that he's now Bonnie's toy. Bonnie picked him, and now he's got to start acting like a toy, because he can have a life beyond being trash. And I think that Bo Peep's return in this film was actually done well, and I love that they made her. I love that they made her more badass and kick-ass than in the first two, and also, yeah. I mean, I forgot to mention how good the animation was in Toy Story 3, and 4's animation, I think, is about on par with that. But
I'd argue even better in some ways. Like, look at the opening scene.
Well, yeah. But of course, by 2019 standards, it looks stunning, especially in the opening scene with the rain, and when Woody says goodbye to Bo, and she's like, "I'm not Andy's toy. I've got to move on now," which was actually a smart way to open the film. But then playing the "You've Got a Friend in Me" song again, that was unnecessary. I was like, seriously, we don't need to hear this song again. But then once we, but this film also has some fun new locations like the China store and the
Oh yeah, the
carnival.
antique store.
Yeah, and then and Gabby is probably the best new toy in the film because she's really misunderstood, just even and not the villain, even though she's determined to get Woody's voice box. You completely get her motives because she wants her girl Harmony back, but very sadly Harmony has no interest in her anymore. So Woody does a really noble thing of getting her a kiss in the end, and also, but the other new toys I didn't particularly care for or find funny at all, like Bunny and Ducky and a Duke Kaboom. Yeah, that they annoyed me. That they got on my nerves. And also the and also the rest of Andy's toys, like Jesse and Rex and Mr. Potato Head, Mrs. Potato Head, even Bonnie's toys. They're barely in it. Guys, did you not learn from 2 and 3 that you can include all of the toys together? For most of this film, they're just stuck in, Bonnie and her parents' RV, and they do nothing. Even Buzz doesn't do an awful lot. He's just the only one that goes after Woody, but that's about it.
He kind of talks to himself for most of the movie, or his inner voice.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, although actually one other supporting character that was rather charming was Officer Dibbles, the tiny police officer. I guess she was charming. Yeah, and then but and then the ending is very bittersweet when Woody does make the choice to leave the toys and to be with Bo Peep, but which actually makes sense for his character because Bonnie, unlike Andy, Bonnie barely plays with Woody because she has made Jessie the new deputy and sheriff of her toys, and you can really, so I can see why they went with that ending, even though it doesn't hit nearly as hard as When She Loved Me from Toy Story 2 or the goodbye scene from the third film, but it's still, but it's satisfactory, and but yeah, on the whole, this film, it's more light-hearted than the first 3. It's not as ambitious. It's not as risk-taking, and it's not as funny. There's definitely not even close. Well, and yeah, so it's so. I mean, I guess I do get the love for it. I do see why some people that sing its praises are coming from, but personally, yeah, I'm somebody that I don't love it as much as most people, but good for it for making over $1 billion and winning best animated feature like the third film. Yeah, it was clear that Toy Story wasn't going anywhere after this film. So, but I will give it this: it is so much better than Lightyear, way better than Lightyear.
5.
Oh yeah, and 5, yes. At least it has more of a reason to exist than 5. So yeah, and Josh Cooley. I mean, yeah, you did a passable job directing this one, but so yeah, and this was the last Pixar film of the 2010s, and the year before this, we had Incredibles 2, which was much better than this film. No question.
And the year after this, we had COVID.
Oh yeah, of course. But the year after this, we also had Onward and Soul to get us through COVID. 2 beautiful original Pixar films. So yeah, I'm gonna score Toy Story 4 7 out of 10 and 3 stars out of 5.
So a decent effort for you, but
Oh yeah,
not a classic.
yeah.
Well, I this is where we differ slightly. So we very much agree on the first three. I like this one slightly more than you. When I first saw it, I really, really got attached to it, and I rated it even higher. But now I have lowered my rating a little bit. I think Toy Story 4 is a solid yet unnecessary movie. There was
Oh
no
yeah.
need for this film, or we didn't really need it. But I would be lying if I said I didn't enjoy it because I actually thought it was rather good. There were a lot of ideas that I appreciated, and the fact that it kind of acts as an epilogue to three, and it concludes Woody's character arc really well. I think the whole idea of him sort of not having a purpose and Bonnie rejecting him is again kind of akin to sort of Jesse being rejected, but in the sense that Woody is just trying to cling on to Bonnie as long as he can and make her happy. Hence, when like Forky is being made, he tries to keep Forky close to Bonnie, but he's kind of got this misplaced loyalty, and that's where I think the drama comes from. And I think the drama is very solid, comes from a good place. It doesn't hit quite as hard as 1, 2, and 3, but I still think 4 is actually rather good for what it is. And I personally did find some of the new characters quite funny. Like, I mean, it's arguable that there's too many, and you probably could have lost some, but I didn't mind Ducky and Bunny. I thought they were fine. You know, they had their moments. But I really like Bo in this film. I think Bo Peep coming back is brilliant because she was obviously absent in the third one. So it's nice to have her back and to see her as a much more hardened character and a sort of in a different place. You know, she's not just in love with Woody. You know, she's a bit more of a fighter, and she's sort of like saving a lot of toys in the carnival. And again, what I love about these movies is that with each sequel we expand the world. So we're now seeing toys at a carnival and seeing how a lot of them are trapped there and need saving, and you know, it's a bit of a rough life out there, but showing the perspective of like a kid's room compared to like life out there, I think is I think that's a good idea. I think that works really well. Ideas that don't work so well, I think Buzz's inner voice, not quite sure where that came from, doesn't really make me laugh. It's not that funny. It's just bizarre. Like Buzz has already accepted he's a toy, so why is he now talking to himself saying, "Oh, in a voice, tell me this and that"? Like, it kind of contradicts his whole character arc in the first one, and then obviously in 2 and 3, he takes on more of a leadership role, and he's quite comfortable with who he is. He doesn't need a voice to tell him what to do. So to me, it's kind of, well, obviously it was done as a joke, but that's the part that doesn't really work for me. I would have changed that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Tim Allen tried his best. So it's a shame, really, about that. And it's also a shame that the other characters like Jesse, Bullseye, you know, all of those main characters we know from the first 3 films are very much sidelined here. It's very Woody focused, which in some ways I think is a disappointment, really, because as you said, they all could have been on the adventure, and I think Toy Story is better when you have the ensemble of characters together.
Oh, totally.
But you know, for what it is, the new characters that go on the journey are I think are quite fun. Giggle McDimples, the little tiny, I guess Tamagotchi-like figure, who's like a policewoman or something. She's kind of cool. She's quite energetic. I quite like Duke Kaboom, actually. I think Keanu Reeves is kind of funny. He doesn't have many lines in the movie, but when he does appear, you know, it's kind of fun. And Gabby, yeah, she's sort of set up to be a villain, though she's not really a villain. She sort of just has, she has a kid who she wants to connect with, and Harmony, but the kid doesn't want her. And I think that's kind of tragic, really. So kind of like Woody, she sort of ends up with no purpose, but she wants Woody's voice box, obviously, to draw in Harmony, which is why at first Gabby is set up to be an antagonist, because we think, oh, she's evil, she's stealing his voice box, but it's that the truth isn't really like that. And as for Forky, well, obviously, sorry, last thing to mention, when Gabby finally does get her kid, I think that's a very beautiful moment. That's kind of bittersweet when she sees that girl in the carnival crying, and then Woody says, "This is the most noble thing a toy can do," and they kind of set her up to help the kid, and I think that works really, really well.
Oh yeah.
Oh god, I forgot what I was going to say. Shit, I forgot what I was going to say. The music is really good. The new songs are quite nice. I think they work well. Oh, and Forky, that's it. The new character of Forky. When I saw the trailers for Toy Story 4, I thought this character is going to be annoying. This is where the series is going to really drop the ball. He actually was really good. I like that character, and I like the fact that again, it's an idea that's been sort of done before, but in a different way. The sort of existential crisis of like who he is. Like he thinks he's a piece of trash instead of a toy. Again, kind of similar to the Buzz thinking he's a space ranger thing, but just in a different context. So I like the way they purposed Forky, and I think he is a comedy character, but that whole montage where he's trying to throw himself away and Woody is trying to stop him, I think is quite funny. Their dynamic is quite good, and Tony Hale does a good job. You know, the character is not as annoying as you think he will be, so I think they succeeded there. Animation is just superb. It gets better and better with each one. It's just so good at this point, and there's nothing that Pixar can't do. There really isn't. And the opening scene, I think, is incredible. I love the opening of this film where we see Woody trying to save RC car on the pull string, and it's raining outside, and everything looks kind of very cinematic looking.
Oh yeah, probably the best scene in the movie.
Yeah, like the whole, like in Andy's, obviously it's a flashback, so we're seeing a young Andy in his room and everything, and it's just like wow, the way that the character designs look compared to the first film it's come such a long way. It really is incredible. And you know, I like some of the callbacks to the other films, like the music calling back to Toy Story 2 was nice. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, yeah, it does suffer. It's not as good as the first three because I don't feel like it hits quite as hard, and I feel like it is a more unnecessary movie. But I do like the drama of this film, and I think it's a great adventure. And that scene when Woody says to Bo, "This is all I have left to do. I've got nothing else to do." I think Woody's drama is so strong in this film. And you know, him trying to find his purpose, and then by the end of the movie he's made his choice to stay with Bo. I think that's a very good ending for him, and it's a shame that they kind of brought those two back in the next film because I don't think they needed to, but never mind. I really think you know, I'm actually kind of glad in a way we got this movie. It was good to see life with the toys after Andy left and to see how they were with Bonnie. And all the stuff with the father, like Bonnie's parents, trying to drive away, and then the other toys trying to stop them from going. You know, I thought that was fun, but it's not as thrilling a climax as the first three. But that's fine. You know, I still enjoyed it. So for me, this movie is an 8 out of 10. I think it's solid. I think it's nice. Good, but I think that it's definitely weaker than the first three. But you know, and again, we didn't need it, but for what it is, I think, you know, it was good to explore that last bit of drama. But I really think it should have ended here. But obviously, money dictates whether things end or not. So anyway, we now move on to the most recent movie of this franchise. Obviously, before this, we did get Lightyear, but that's not worth wasting our breath on that. So 2026, Toy Story 5, which, you know, 31 years after the original. Oh gosh, be prepared for this, folks, because this is going to be quite the rant. So, Harry, do take it away.
Don't worry, Ollie. Yeah, I've been saving a good mini rant for this one. Like, I mean, you could literally interview Disney and with about the behind the scenes of Toy Story 5, and they would be like, "Hello, I like money. What inspired you to make Toy Story 5? Money." Yes, that's literally the only reason Toy Story 5 exists. Just because Toy Story 3 and 4 made over $1 billion. And yeah, when I when Toy Story 5 was green, I was like, boo, seriously, this is one too many this time. Like
Yeah, it was
I
gonna
gave
happen, wasn't it?
I gave them a pass with 4, but 5, no, you've gone too far now. I'm sorry. And
Yeah.
I I was not impressed by the trailers one bit, and everybody was like, "Oh, you're being
Yeah.
pessimistic about this movie. Give it a chance. It could be good." And when I mean, it was still a pleasure to see this movie with you on the big screen
Oh,
because,
vice
I
versa,
mean,
man.
of course, because you have got a friend in me. But
Oh,
yeah, of course. But this film, it did not impress me. Yeah, I
no.
think
Well,
Toy
not even
Story
the
5.
animation.
Well, yeah, the animation, I will give it that. It's about as good as the animation in 4,
Yeah,
and
it's as
the
good as
ta-
it's ever gonna be. You know.
well, exactly, because of course it's Pixar, and the Taylor Swift song "I Knew It, I Knew You" that was good to hear. But as a Swiftie myself, but yeah, 5. This film is nothing, and I think it adds little to nothing to the franchise at this point. Pixar are scraping the bottom of the barrel, and this film is recycling a lot of ideas uh, from Toy Story 2 especially, and it's most of the humor and jokes are just nostalgia baits. I'm very surprised they didn't make a joke about you've got a friend in me itself. I mean, and but yeah, the the idea of Jessie being the lead character, well, that's not a bad idea because she is my favorite character in the series. But and Joan Cusack does act her heart out, but you can tell her voice is so much older now. And also, this film did not do Jessie justice. Like, it did not give her the story that she deserved. It gave her a very boring and really uh, uneventful one. Like with her rivalry with Lilypad. Yes, the big threat in this film is an iPad. How intimidating! Like, what happened to the great Toy Story villains of the original trilogy? Sid, Stinky Pete, and Lotso. Like, this
Mm.
film is way more childish in tone, and
Would you
it's
agree though that the tech thing is a relevant idea?
yeah, the toys versus tech. I get what it was trying to do because these days more kids are on tech than they play with toys, which is very tragic. But and even me as a 30-year-old man, I'd still much rather play with my old toys than with the tech that I have. But it was but the film, well, like you say, Ollie, it tries to do too much, whereas the other 4 at least are stuck to one idea. And so yeah, and also Jesse's rivalry with the lily pad, it's just copying Woody and Buzz's rivalry in the first Toy Story. It really is. And I mean, I cannot, yeah, and the yeah, and I can't believe the number of times Bonnie almost gave up the toys in this film just because all the other kids were making fun of her for playing with toys. I'm like, Bonnie, did you forget your promise that you made to Andy to look after these toys? I mean,
Oh, come on, that's a little harsh. I mean, she was just trying to fit in, wasn't she, with the others?
well, yeah, well, yeah, well, yeah. I guess so. I guess she was, um, uh, but uh, but yeah, I'm still, you still feel bad for Bonnie when she's cyberbullied, and she really should have told her mum about that in the first place. But I do like the friend they got for her, Blaze. I mean, she was a sweet
Mm.
character, but the fact that Blaze lives on the same farm that Emily lived in was a pointless decision. Like, there
Yeah.
was no need there was no need to reference, Emily's farm and Toy Story 2 and Jesse's backstory all over again, and Emily, naming her daughter after Jesse. I mean, yeah, it's really again forcefully tying in to
Yeah.
Toy Story 2.
It's
Well, and
unnecessary. It's just adding it for the sake of doing it. You know.
Yeah, completely unnecessary. Well, and I, I mean, I thought Bunny and Ducky and Duke Kaboom were annoying, but Smarty Pants, oh my god, this character sucks. He is the Jar Jar Binks of Toy Story. Oh, my god, I'm sorry, a living posse trainer, Pixar. You're jumping the shark here. There's literally a joke that Blaze was able to take a shit without him. Wow, very funny. Pixar, yeah. And yeah, this is easily the least funny and the most boring of the five movies. Well, and also the army of buzzers, completely pointless. Like,
Yeah.
what was the point of them? Well, and even that Bambi reference scene. What the fuck was that? That came out of nowhere. Well,
like, oh, we're looking for Star Command again, and it's like, okay, so we're doing the whole thinks he's a space ranger thing all over again. Okay.
Yeah, that was so tired. I mean, and Buzz trying to propose to Jessie when he's calling her Sheriff Jessie, that's completely stealing Kristoff's storyline from Frozen 2 when he was trying to propose to Anna. Come on, Disney.
I have to say I respectfully disagree with you there because most movies do have like proposals. The idea of like a character proposing to someone they love, that's not I mean, that's a cliche that is going to happen.
Well, yeah.
But what I will say is the idea of like toys getting married seems a bit pointless. But yeah, I can understand your frustration, but for me, it's more the fact that they're toys. Do they really like? Do they like legally have to get married? Like what? It doesn't make sense really. But there we are.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't see the need for toy weddings, and when Forky gets a wife in this film, Knifey, she sadly doesn't get a character arc like Forky did in Toy Story 4. She does jack shit, just like the other of Andy's toys and Bonnie's toys. They do absolutely nothing. They just spend the majority of this film in a box. I mean, that is just sad. And even
take him to the box.
Even the finale of this film, it ends. It's so underwhelming. It's just them chasing after the truck to get Lily Pad back for Bonnie. I mean, it's not much of a climax at all. But I mean, I was really struggling to stay awake in the middle act of this film. I was really that's a border. So I'm sorry, folks, but I told you so. Toy Story 5 was not the best idea, but at least we had a Hoppers this year, one great original Pixar film to make up for this, and in 2027
it may be like Avatar, but at least it's aware of it.
Well, exactly, totally. And at least in 2027, we're getting Gasso, which I cannot wait to see that movie. But yeah, I mean, Toy Story 6, well, it's either going to be toys versus AI or the bodies, or the toys showing Bonnie that they're alive. But Toy Story, that because that's the only thing they could do with the story at this point. So yeah, I'm gonna, and also one last thing. Why is Woody in this movie? Why would you make that ending of Toy Story 4 redundant?
But why the fuck are we in this movie?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, I mean, yeah, bringing Woody back was just one of the pointless decisions this film made. So yeah, I'm gonna close up by giving Toy Story 5. Yeah, I'll give it a 3 out of 10 and 1 star out of 5.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Would you agree though that there are some heartwarming moments in it?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, what one or two, but not enough to save it.
Oh, No, 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 no. Oh, I'm only joking. Well, I mean, I have to say, I actually, sadly, somewhat agree with you. Um, I mean, I like it more than you do, but I don't love it. Um, I was very disappointed with this movie, and it took me a couple of viewings to really cement my thoughts. Because the first time I saw this film, I was so kind of polarized by what I saw. I was just like, I need time to make sense of this. You know, and to me, I have to be honest, it's easily the weakest of the five. I know at some point the consistency of quality was going to drop, and whilst four was not as good as one, two, and three, it was still good, and it still had one idea that it's followed through. To me, Toy Story 5 feels like a script that isn't the final draft. It feels like this is like draft one or two, and there's so many ideas that they haven't whittled down. Like, almost feel like, as you say, Woody is very much doesn't need to be in it. You know, he's a real spare part. I mean, he's obviously only in it because it's Tom Hanks and he's an iconic character, but the movie could have managed without that. The movie could have also managed without the army of Buzz Lightyears, who ended up doing nothing, and other than like flying in the climax. The Buzz and Jesse marriage thing didn't really need to happen either. And again, forcefully tying back to the Emily backstory. Like, again, you didn't have to make, okay, have it be the house if you have to, fine. It's a bit contrived and a bit convenient that Emily used to live so close to where Bonnie lives. I think that's a little bit convenient. But then then you add insult to injury and go one step further, and you're like, oh, she names her daughter Jessie, so she did care about it. It's like, no, we don't need this, Pixar. We don't need this. It's not that it's a bad idea. I just find it all a bit unnecessary. Like, the backstory was fine as it was. It was simple.
Yeah.
You know, less is more. You don't need to add more context to what we already knew. You know, I mean, to me, it doesn't change much about Jessie. Okay, yeah, she now knows that her owner did care about her even after the rejection, but that's it. You know, to me, all of that effort just for nothing. To me,
Yeah.
again, it all just feels unnecessary. And I think what could have been the saving grace of this film is if they just stuck to one idea, which was the toys versus tech, and have it be about Bonnie trying to become friends with Blaze, because obviously we see Bonnie get the not the laptop, the iPad, well, the lily pad, and then connect on a group chat, and then get cyberbullied. And the message of the movie clearly is meant to be like, you don't have to change yourself to find friends. You should just accept who you are and what you love, and the right person won't judge you. And I like that. And I think that is a great idea, and that could have been an amazing idea for this movie. But if they cut out all the unnecessary crap that surrounds the main plot, then it would have been stronger. I did struggle to connect with this one more emotionally than the other ones. But I appreciate that their heart was in the right place when they were making this film. And then moments with Bonnie where, like, she's talking to her mother, and her mother says, "Oh, you know, you can tell us anything," and this, you know, sad music playing. So there were a couple of very sad moments that were nice, but to me, the whole thing just feels a little tired. And yeah, and again, Woody just did not need to be in it. Like, his arc wrapped up perfectly in number 4. I think it was a good ending, and you can carry on the series without him. But I think making Jesse the lead actually was a good idea. I did like that, but I do find some of this film to drag somewhat. I feel like it's slow, and because we're stuck in the kid's room for most of it, it doesn't feel as grand or as kind of epic as some of the other installments. And yeah, there's a bit of a chase sequence at the end, but it doesn't really amount to very much. I mean, yeah, they want the two girls to connect, and the ending where they do connect is lovely. And I'm surprised that the girls didn't say, "You got a friend in me." You know, I thought they would do that. I did really like the animation imagination sequences where they use that kind of 2D anime style with the different colors and everything, different way to present imagination sequences. So I did appreciate that. That was nice. But yeah, the film just, for me, I found it boring. I'm not gonna lie. There are parts that were kind of slow and boring and dull, but there were some good moments as well. It's such a mixed bag that it's polarizing for me. I could watch it and it's perfectly passable. It's acceptable. There are good moments in it, and the music is good. Um, and the new Taylor Swift song is fine. You know, I like it. It's not the best Toy Story song, but I think it works. The writing just for me is not as clever. The writing is messy. It surprises me from Pixar. You know, it borders on convoluted, to be honest. Like you question, why do we have to go and do this from there, and then we have to have this scene with the tree, and then we have to have the army of buzzes. Like everything just feels so inconsequential. Stick to the tech thing and make it about, you know, friendship and all of that, you know, because that works. Forget the whole Emily stuff, you know, forget Woody, forget the army of Buzz Lightyears, forget all the unnecessary crap. We don't need it. We really don't. And I'm sorry to say that, but that's how I feel. Although the animation is incredible, of course, and it has, you know, it gets better with each film. So that's the one thing you can say that is consistent. But yeah, and as for the new characters, they're okay. I mean, Smarty Pants is hardly the best character. Conan O'Brien does Conan O'Brien very well. Atlas and Snappy are, yeah, they're fine. I mean, I can't see them returning anytime soon unless Blaze decides to come back. I did think Blaze was kind of a nice character for Bonnie. I thought that it was good when they became friends in the end. So I get the point of the film and I get the message they were trying to make out. And the lily pad character was again fine, but probably could have used a bit more development. But yeah, and obviously they severely underused the main toys yet again, the ones that we've known for many years, which is a real shame. They're shoved in the box once again. There's just too many characters in this damn thing now. It's like Ice Age. They just added and added more characters that a lot of the characters people loved got pushed aside. Yeah, for me, this is like the first really big disappointment of the franchise. And I know that there's a lot of people out there that are really enjoying this movie and are really liking it, but I can't lie. After two viewings of it, I have to be honest and say that I think it's under average, which is a real shame. I know some people feel that about 4, but I personally think 4 is better than this because the story isn't as cluttered. It feels streamlined. Despite the fact there are issues with 4, those issues are forgivable and they are minor by comparison. Whereas I feel like Toy Story 5 has so much surrounding it that you just can't follow through. And for me, I just couldn't emotionally connect with it as much, which is a real shame. But props to Joan Cusack. You know, she did a good job, even though she's older now. She still does a really good job with this character. But my honest rating, and a controversial rating, I guess, is going to have to be a 6 out of 10. I enjoy it more than Harry does. Clearly, you know, I was never out to hate this movie. I wasn't really that impressed by the trailers, and I kind of knew it was going to be the weakest one, but I still wanted to give it somewhat of a chance. But, you know, I can't lie about my disappointment. But if any of you lot like this movie, I respect your opinion. You know, there's nothing but subjective.
I completely respect those who are loving this movie too, and this kind of feels like the Indiana Jones 5 of Toy Story, where most people preferred Indy 5 to 4, but we personally prefer 4 to 5, and it's also the case with Toy Story.
Yeah, that's very true. Actually, oh God, Indiana Jones.
I'll
have to do that reflection at some point.
Oh yeah, actually. Yeah. But I will give Toy Story 5 this. Blazer's a horse and a pig that were on her farm were kind of cute. They were actually probably the best supporting characters in it.
Yeah, there was some nice little characters. Obviously, there was a Combat Carl cameo as well, which was nice. Yeah, for me, obviously, the franchise is here to stay. There's no point saying, "Oh, we don't want any more," because they're just going to make them. You know, it is what it is. You know, I mean, they'll get to a point where they'll have to kind of stop because I think a lot of the cast won't be able to do this for forever. But I would not be surprised if we get number 6. I think we'll get 6 and maybe even 7. But who knows?
I mean, I mean, because Toy Story 5, it's making bank, so of course they're gonna make six, even though, yeah, it's clearly time to put the toys away now.
Yeah, it's just as long as they can come up with a good idea. I mean, I'm
Yeah,
convinced number six will be toys versus AI. It's got to be. There's
yeah,
no other idea, is there?
bound to be.
Uh, I mean, to be honest, in some ways, I am grateful for this movie's existence because, again, cinemas since COVID, cinemas have struggled to stay open. So anything that makes bank that that will keep the cinemas open, I am grateful for. Like all these kids movies, like Minions and stuff. All the films I'm not too fussed about, but if they're going to make money, then fine. You know what? There is a place for them. Mainstream cinema is what it is. It's a money machine, and it needs, we need cinemas to survive, quite frankly. So, in that respect, I appreciate the movie's existence, and if it does make as much money as 3 and 4, then brilliant. But the next attempt, I'll be hoping for better efforts than this. But never mind. It's perfectly acceptable. Number 5. There are far worse animated movies out there, but just compared to the Toy Story movies, the other ones is just a real disappointment to me. But anyway, all that remains now before we wrap is to rank the movies. We're not really going to talk too much about Lightyear, but I'll just say when I first saw it, I thought it was kind of all right. But on reflection, I think about it more. The more I think about it, the more I don't like it. This stupid twist at the end, and the pretentious text about, oh, this boy Andy saw this movie and wanted to buy a Buzz Lightyear, because of this. And the movie never lived up to that quote or that statement. But
how is that Andy's favorite movie? Seriously,
I have no idea. I mean, I like the animation. I think Chris Evans does try his best, but ultimately it's again unnecessary. I don't know anyone who really wanted that film, but yeah, to me it doesn't. It's not a Toy Story movie, although it's connected to the Toy Story films. It's not really a Toy Story movie, so I'm not gonna sort of go too in depth about it, but it's not very good. So yeah,
no, Lightyear I actually think is Pixar's worst film. Yeah, I think it's that bad. Well, and in fact, I would much rather in the future. I hope we get a Woody's Roundup movie someday because that actually could be great.
I'm actually convinced that if not Toy Story 5, if Lightyear actually did much better, then I think we would have had the Woody's Roundup film. But I don't think it will happen now. Well, maybe. I mean, I could be wrong, but maybe if they just want to make more spin-offs to Toy Story, then they might do that instead of doing Toy Story 6. But I'm pretty sure they'll do Toy Story 6. It's on the cards. But anyway, in terms of the 5 movies we've got, Harry, how would you rank them and then rate them out of 50, adding up all the scores that you've
Okay, so at number 5 at the bottom, Toy Story 5, no surprise, and then at number 4, Toy Story 4, and number 3, Toy Story, the first one, number 2, Toy Story 3, and number 1, of course, Toy Story 2. So technically, out of out of 50, that would be a 40 out of 50 for me.
Ooh, nice. So that's not too bad. That's very good, considering.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. So for me, obviously, the ranking would be the bottom Toy Story 5 at 6 out of 10. 4 Toy Story 4 at 8 out of 10. Then Toy Story 1 at number 3 at 10 out of 10. 2 Toy Story 2 at 10 out of 10, and 1 Toy Story 3 10 out of 10. The score adds up to, the first 3 is 13, then plus 8 is 38, 8 plus 6, so 44? Yeah, 44 out of 50, which is very good. Very high ranking. It's just the 5th one that kind of lets it down a bit, but aside that, I'd still think this is a very strong series of movies, despite the fifth one not being as great. There's always some margin for error. But just overall, like so far on the five movies, it really is kind of been a journey of cinema in terms of animation and how far we've really come in the technical achievements. And just the series itself is such an imaginative and intuitive series. Arguably gone on longer than it needed to, but I still think there's such a special place for Toy Story in a lot of people's hearts, mine included. I would like them to put it to bed, but I don't think they will. So for what it's worth, I want to raise a toast to Pixar and say thank you for the gift of Toy Story, and especially the first one, because without that, we wouldn't be here today talking about the fifth one. And yeah, my sort of my general verdict is I really am fond of these movies, even the fifth one to a certain extent, but I appreciate what it's done for the film industry. So yeah, any last words, Harry?
Yeah. I will forever cherish that original trilogy, and will forever be thankful for Toy Story for giving us Pixar in general. Even if I would love them to do more Monsters Inc. Content and expand some of their other franchises and make more original content, but I'll still look back on the first three Toy Stories as one of the great landmarks of cinema, and I can't imagine my childhood really without Toy Story. So
and one of the best trilogies in movie history.
Easily, yes. So thank you, Toy Story.
Yes, and I think on that note we shall leave it there and say so long, partners. This has been me, Pajak's Perspective, and Harry Thomas. Thank you, Harry, for joining me. It's been really great having you.
You're very welcome. Thank you, Ollie, for having me.
And we'll see you in probably about another 5 or 6 years' time when they make Toy Story 6.
Yeah. Oh, that'll be interesting.
Yes. We'll be back with more reflections on other movies. And in terms of Pixar, there's a few franchises we could look ahead to. In a couple of years, we'll do The Incredibles, because obviously 3 is coming out.
Yay.
And Monsters Inc. 3 is coming out. So, yeah, we've got that to look forward to. Yeah, so, obviously, because we got the prequel Monsters Universities, but they're going to doing a sequel. So we'll see how that goes. But, and Gatto obviously comes out later this year, so that's going to be interesting. And next year, I think. Next year.
Yeah.
Either way, long live Pixar, long live Toy Story. We will see you very soon. Bye.
Bye.